Are we live?
Yeah, I see the live button over there.
You do? Okay.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I'm a. Oh, you know what? I can. Am I gonna be able to share it this way? Let me see. Yeah, it says we're live. There's three reactions. I see.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Carla Palmer Show. This is episode number 5. I want to start by asking you guys to please come in to the room. Happy to have you. I also want to invite you guys to share the broadcast out so that we can get more people into this very important broadcast. We've got a great guest on for today, and I want you guys to make sure that your network of friends is privy to this information. I'm also going to take a moment and share it out on my personal page. So if we could all just take a moment right now and just share this out, that would be amazing. Okay, so just put join us now and hit the share button, and then we're going to be good to go. I'm going to give everybody just a little bit of time to get into the room. I want to introduce myself. My name is Carla Palmer. I am your host for today on the Carla Palmer Show. Like I said at the beginning, this is our 5th episode of 10. We're starting off with 10 episodes this season. We've had some really amazing guests on here, just making sure that the community is enlightened. Maybe you're learning something new. Maybe you're just feeling good and inspired when you leave the broadcast. But the goal is to really do anything that I can with my guests to move the community forward in a positive way. So today we've got a really special guest on in the chair, and I want to invite her in. Let's see if we can get her on the screen right now. And hopefully you guys can see Dr. Yolanda. Hi, Dr. Yolanda.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Carla. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited that you're here. And I thank you for taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule to be with us today. I know that your schedule is really, really packed. I know that today you were doing the cancer walk or something today. So I know that you're all over the place. You're speaking internationally. You're doing all of these things. So the fact that you took time to come onto my show really, really means a lot to me. So I really appreciate that, Dr. Yolanda Lenzy.
Oh, my pleasure. Happy to do it.
Awesome. So you guys, I want to tell you a little bit about Dr. Yolanda. Again, I want to invite you guys to share this broadcast out just one more time so that we can get people in. I see some people in the room right now. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the broadcast. I appreciate your presence. So let's get started. I want you guys to meet Dr. Yolanda. I'm going to just read a little bit about her because it's too much to commit to memory. This woman is incredible. So I want you guys to know some background information on Dr. Yolanda. Dr. Yolanda Lenzy is a board certified dermatologist, licensed cosmetologist, international speaker, and author. Her research and clinical practice focuses on treating hair loss, scalp conditions, and the special concerns treating skin disease in skin of color. Prior to college, Dr. Yolanda Lenzy trained in cosmetology and has been a licensed cosmetologist for over 20 years. Her background as a hairstylist fueled her passion to focus her career on optimizing care for the hair and scalp from a medical perspective. She has authored numerous publications for academic journals, book chapters, and nationally distributed patient education materials. Dr. Lenzy serves on the board of directors of the Cicatricial Alopecia Research Foundation. She is a clinical associate at the University of Connecticut Health Sciences Center, owner of Lenzy Dermatology and Hair Loss Center in Chicopee, Massachusetts, and author of the soon-to-release book, Getting to the Roots, a dermatologist and cosmetologist guide to understanding hair. That is a mouthful. You have done a lot. You have, really been out there working hard to really help people understand hair loss, scalp conditions. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate you on a personal level because I've had the opportunity to meet you in person. I have, made myself vulnerable and allowed you to see my hair loss that I've been experiencing. And so it really means a lot to have you on the show today because I know that there are other women out there who are dealing with hair loss and scalp conditions. And, it's really sometimes an embarrassing thing to deal with. It's not something that we should be embarrassed about, but it is, an embarrassing thing sometimes for a lot of people. So can you just tell us a little bit more about what fueled your passion to really go into this specific area of work?
Absolutely. First of all, let me welcome everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Carla. I think you are phenomenal. So when you asked me to come on your show, it was my pleasure to do so. Thank you for all that you've done to support me. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. I am really, really excited to be able to do this work. It really started, Carla, back when I was in middle school. My mother actually developed a spot of hair loss in the central part of her scalp. And what happened was um, I asked her about it, and she said that, many of the women in our family developed the spot. And I said, well, I don't want that spot. And so I wanted to know more about it. Like, what did that mean? And come to find out, her hairstylist told her it was a stress spot. I don't know how many of you all have heard that terminology before that, oh, that's just a stress spot. That's just a place you have stress. And we love to dismiss things and say, oh, it's just this. And we know everything, right? We done been in medical school. We done been there, but we know everything, right? And so but we don't always know everything. And so I've always been very inquisitive. And so I had a mentor who was a dermatologist, and I went to follow her in her office, and I got a chance to learn that dermatologists are physician experts of the hair, skin, and nails. And so I became intrigued by that. I started to follow her, and I really saw an opportunity for me to integrate my background as a hairstylist, because I had a natural gift at that, and my love of science and math, to become a physician that could specialize and help people with hair loss. I was like, oh my God, I got it. Because it's a really beautiful thing where we can figure out our passion, our purpose.
Yes, yes.
Wakes us up in the morning, the thing that allows us to say, oh my God, this is why I was created. And so that's really how it started. And it's been a wonderful ride. It's been it's so fulfilling, Carla, to be able to see people in the office, see people virtually who live all across the world. I work with people because they may not have someone local who understands, who they can work with. So it's just really been an honor. I'm a woman of faith, and I love to, to know that God is using me, right? I believe that God has no hands but ours. So he uses my voice, my brain to work through them. So it's really a blessing to be able to do this work.
That's amazing. So can you tell us a little bit about some of what are I know there are a lot of different forms of hair loss. I mean, what is it, like 14 different forms of hair loss? Am I way off even?
No, you're spot on. You're spot
okay.
on.
Yeah, so 14 different forms of hair loss. I know that you predominantly deal with women of color. Is this correct?
No, I deal with everyone.
Oh, great. Okay. That's good. That's good because our audience is pretty mixed too. What are the three main forms of hair loss that you typically see? Is there are there some that come more than others?
Absolutely. So the number one cause of hair loss in everyone, men and women, all races, is called androgenetic alopecia. Okay, also called female pattern hair loss or male pattern hair loss. That's the number one cause of hair loss. The estimates show that about 50% of people will develop this form of hair loss at some point in life. So it's very, very common, right? And so this is a form of hair loss that happens more as we get older. And what happens is a process called, and I like to teach you a little term.
You are a teacher. Yeah.
There's a process called miniaturization, right? So the hair follicle, this is exactly how I describe it in my office. I draw pictures. The hair follicle goes from the normal size to a smaller size, right? So the hair follicles get smaller, and those smaller follicles put out smaller hair. Okay? So that's what happens. So that's the number one cause of hair loss in all people. There are great treatments for that we do. Some treatments are oral, some treatments are topical, some treatments are injections. So many different things that we can do for that. The second most common form of hair loss that I see is in African American women, and that particular form of hair loss is called CCCA, And it's a long name. It's central because it happens in the top. The second C is centrifugal. So what that means is it starts off small and it gets bigger over time. The third C is a word because Latin is cicatricial. Okay, that means scarring in Latin. And the A is alopecia, so it's CCCA for short, and that's the number one cause of hair loss in Black women. Okay, and with that form of hair loss, there's often a genetic predisposition, so it often runs in families. Not everyone. So I always explain to patients: some people follow the rule, the textbook, but some people may not have anyone in their families with it. And the hair care practices have been associated with this form of hair loss, including braids, weaves, locks, things that put weight and tension on the follicle. So that particular form of hair loss, that's what I personally do a lot of research on. We're about to publish a big paper that's going to be coming out soon. We're waiting on the reviewers and all that stuff. So more to come on that. And then the third, you asked for three. The third is an epidemic as well called traction alopecia.
Yeah.
You all heard of the edges. Everybody talks about edges, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's the form of hair loss where you preferentially lose your edges. And so those are probably the top three that I see in my office and probably the literature as well. Another one, FFA, frontal fibrosing alopecia. I'll just throw that in as a fourth because that one is currently, we're seeing an international epidemic of that particular form of hair loss and we don't know why. So a lot of work to do. I always like to take these opportunities to encourage parents to show this to their kids because we really need people to go into science, right? We need people who are smart, who want to like work hard because a lot of this stuff we don't know a lot about. It's frustrating to tell the patients, say, why do we have this? A lot of it we don't know. Can you believe that? We still don't know a lot of this stuff. So I always use that as a call to say we need more people working on these conditions, working on research, right? There's the clinical practice, but then there's also the research behind it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just love how passionate you are. You get so excited when you're talking about this, and it's such an important topic. And I want to go into people avoiding the issue, okay? And I want to go into that because, and I'm going to keep going back to my own personal experience with the CCSA. Is that how you say it? Yeah. My own personal experience. So I was getting braids year after year, because I work out a lot and it was comfortable for me. And so I kept getting my hair braided and I kept wearing it at the top of my head. Like I have this little fake bun on right now. I kept doing that, which I need to be careful with this even. And so the last time I was going to get my hair braided, I think it was probably like 2000, maybe 14, 2015. The lady who was getting ready to do my hair, she said, listen, I'm not going to do your hair. And I'm like, why? Why are you not going to do my hair? I need the braids because my hair is getting thin and then I need to work out. Like, it's just better if I just get it braided because I was ignoring the fact that my hair was thinning. I was getting little bald spots here and there right in the middle. And she said, I'm not going to do that. She said, you need to address the issue. And that's why I'm so glad that you are writing this book and you're going to train other stylists who are seeing clients who come in like me. And I think it's important that they do exactly what this lady did with me to say, listen, we're not going to cover this up. You have to address this issue. Otherwise, it's just going to get worse. And so what do you have to say to that experience? You see a lot of that, people who have waited too long and maybe they could have slowed it down or even maybe prevented it.
Yes. First I want to say kudos to that stylist. Wow. That is what we want to have happen, right? We want to have them to say, listen, I see something here that I'm concerned about. And you need to get to the root of the problem. That's why I titled my book, Getting to the Root, right? You don't need to just cover this up, right? And there are some, I love Instagram and I love following different stylists who have their camouflage, and that's all well and good.
Right.
However, we need to get to the root of what's really going on because if you cover it so much, you're going to get to the point like my poor mother who you can't cover it anymore. It's like this big. How can you cover that, right?
Yeah.
So that is so important. So I love that stylist had the courage because it might, it could affect her money to say, listen, I'm not going to do your hair this way. I want you to go and get this addressed. And so I just say kudos to her or him or whoever it was. And that's what I'm really passionate about because, I've done a lot of research with stylists, and one of the questions I asked is, what would be a reason why you would not say something?
Right.
You see, and one of the focus groups that we did was stylists said that they don't want to be blamed as culpable.
Oh, interesting.
So I had not even really thought about that. And so one of the things that I do when I'm working with my patients, I try to say it's really not about a blame game, right? We love blaming people, right? So it is what it is. We have this now. How can we address this now that we have it, right? It's not about blaming who caused it, but now that you know, what we say to know better is to what? Do better,
right?
And so now that we have this, what are we going to do to stop using certain hair care practices that place further traction, weight, and tension on our follicles? So that's the thing that I really want to highlight for everyone out here, because ultimately it's your hair. You're responsible for it. And so so I would say that is something that I see every day, that people wait. People wait a long time before, and sometimes people don't know. I've heard a lot of people say, like, I've had women who come in after 20 years. And one of the questions that in medical school, they taught us to ask patients, like, what made you come in now? And sometimes the patients will say, I didn't know that there was a doctor that addressed this. Isn't that something?
That is something.
I saw you on Facebook, or I saw you on somebody's show, and somebody shared something. That's why I think social media is so powerful, right?
It's so powerful.
People are finding out about something. Like, I've had people email me, Carla, saying, you did a broadcast on lupus. The pictures that you showed and the pictures on your Instagram, I was like, oh my God, that's what I had. They went to the doctor, sure enough, got diagnosed with lupus.
Wow.
Imagine if this person never saw that piece of information. So this is a plug right now. Go ahead and share this out.
Share it out, guys.
Somebody may need to see this word, right? I say everything's a word from God, right? Somebody may need to see this word and say, oh my goodness, this is helping me. I can, I can get this addressed. So yes. So to answer your question, we see this all the time, where people wait, and I would just say, please don't wait. There are people who can help you, and if you went to someone who did not help you, don't give up. Go to the next level. Sometimes you might have to go to someone that's not accepted by your insurance, right? We love saying, oh, they don't accept my insurance. Does your hairstylist accept your insurance?
Okay. How about that?
Does your car place accept your insurance? No, right?
Does your nail technician accept your insurance?
We use that good old credit card, and we accept that at practices too, right? So we got to just get out of this mindset that we don't want to invest in ourselves. So important, right? So
yeah. It was there were a lot of questions even before this broadcast. My friends were giving me questions for you. So it's a 40-minute show. So I'm trying to pack it all in here because this is a hot topic. Because so many people are experiencing this. And one of the questions was, how do you get rid of, or how can you get your hair to grow back from lupus scars on the scalp? If you can.
So let me just break down something real quick. So there's two major forms of hair loss. There's non-scarring hair loss, which means the hair follicles are still there. They're not destroyed by scar tissue. They can still grow back. Then there's the scarring form of hair loss, like lupus, the CCCA, the FFA, the dissecting cellulitis. There's a whole number of them. I cover all these in the book. Unfortunately, in the scarring forms of hair loss, we cannot grow the hair back, right?
Okay.
The goal is really early detection.
Okay.
Then once the condition is under control, meaning it's not expanding, hair transplantation could be considered. Note I say considered.
Okay.
It doesn't always work because if you transplant hair from the back, that scar tissue area sometimes is not a good environment for growth.
Oh, wow.
I see this all the time, Carla, where patients go to these hair transplantation places. They don't even perform a biopsy.
Oh, no.
People pay $7,000, $10,000 And
Isn't that rule number one to do the biopsy?
well, that's what those of us who are dermatologists and specialize in hair loss, we believe that should happen, but that does not always happen.
Okay.
Look at it and they may think they have antigenetic alopecia, the first one I talked about, and then they go forward and do the transplant and it doesn't work. Then they like, okay, then they send them to the dermatologist and we do a biopsy and we're like, no, this is scarring. So to answer that question, we really can, there's nothing really to bring back. Because the follicles are no longer there. So if you look at it under the microscope, the follicles are gone. So this is another important thing. Guys, please don't waste your money buying these oils and all this stuff. I say
that.
oh, I can grow your hair back. Buy this $300 oil, buy this $70 oil. If the follicles are not there, how is anything going to grow back, right? So we got to think about science, right? We got to think about science. If there's nothing there underneath the scalp, that it can't grow back. So there are going to be some follicles that have not yet become scarred. And in that situation, we can get regrowth back. So that's why early detection is important. So I don't want someone at home right now who has lupus to say, oh, well, she said nothing can be done. No, something can always be done. Okay, make sure you hear that. You can't grow all the hair back, but how would you feel if you could prevent it from going from here to here?
Yeah.
Success, right? So it's all about perspective. So it's all about, I would rather keep it small than if you do nothing, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, yeah. And then when it gets bigger, you start to wear like the buns like I have, or you start to wear the wigs. And can we talk about like what those things might do to contribute to an acceleration of hair loss, or, you know, losing your edges, or kind of like making it come out in the place where you're putting the buns and things like that? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, you know, we always say sometimes in trying to work with one problem, you can cause another problem, right?
Right.
And so you do have to be careful with wigs. Some wigs are ill-fitting; they're too tight, and that's going to rub up against, you know, those the follicles, right? And the follicles in the frontal scalp are the smallest on the entire scalp. So this is the reason why we preference you get traction here. So you have to be really gentle. There are things that I recommend to my patients, like there's certain types of things you can wear underneath your wig, not the standard wig cap. There's these Velcro type things, something called like a wig grip that I like, that you can use to protect your edges. Also, you got to be careful with the buns. Bobby pins can cause a lot of problems. You know, there's some articles that show that bobby pins. Remember the nurses used to wear the nurses' caps?
Yeah.
Yep. Traction alopecia right where the bobby pins. So every day if you put bobby pins in the same place, you can get traction alopecia there. So you got to be careful with. You need to work with a stylist who can be creative and who is well trained. Preferably someone who's worked with like someone like me. To really learn what are safe practices that you can do. So that's
yeah. Wow. And so as far as gosh, I got sidetracked there. But as far as wow, what was I going to ask you? That's crazy. I just got sidetracked. Sorry about that. Hormone replacement therapy. So we have the estrogen and the testosterone, you know, and if it's off balance, and we have more of the male characteristics that are showing up because we have a high level of testosterone, what do you think about that kind of therapy? Would you recommend it or no?
I generally don't, because there has been a lot of studies with HRT, hormone replacement therapy, in increasing risk of breast cancer and some.
Oh my goodness!
So you have to work with your GYN with regards to that. But if it's just for hair, if you're doing HRT just for the hair, no way. I don't recommend that at all, because there's other safer ways that we can treat it. Now, if you need HRT for other reasons, then you can discuss that with that doctor. I don't prescribe HRT because that's not my wheelhouse. I'm not a gynecologist.
Okay.
It's very important, but there are some risks of hormone replacement therapy. This is a side note, so you can talk to your doctor about that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Have you seen any link between hair loss or hair thinning and people's diet? Like, say, for example, if someone is vegan and maybe they're not getting all the nutrients that they would get if they were not vegan, do you see any sort of correlation between hair loss and maybe, let's say, veganism or just any poor diet?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So remember, guys, there's so many different forms of hair loss. So this is a new name I'm about to throw at you guys. There's something called TE, or telogen effluvium.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
right. Oh my goodness. Right. So telogen effluvium is the type of hair loss, and it causes excessive shedding. And we can see this really in association with diet. So people who have low amounts of protein in their diet, we can see it with, and this is the type of hair loss you also see after having a baby, after having major surgery, after going under anesthesia, after having a restricted diet. All of these things cause a shock to the body, right? And so then the hairs can go from normally about 10% of our hairs are in the shedding phase. During TE, 30% becomes shedding in the shedding phase. So that's the reason why we see all this hair come out. So I have patients come in and say, "Oh my God, I'm going to be bald because every time I wash my hair, all of my hair is coming out." So you're not going to go bald from TE. You're not going to go bald because 70% of the hairs are in anagen. Okay, and I explain all this in chapter 3 of the book about anagen, catagen, telogen, all the phases of the hair cycle. And what happens is, so as those hairs are shedding, the others are growing. Okay, so you won't go bald from this form of hair loss. The two types of hair loss that you can get bald from is alopecia areata and the different forms of scarring alopecia.
Okay. So the alopecia areata, though, those are the little circles that come, well, sometimes they're big, but that sometimes grows back, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The video that we shared from This Is Us, those circular patches for the video, any of y'all showed, so that's alopecia areata. So I saw that. I said, "Oh my God, let's use this as a little conversation starter." So guys, as you see, we've already talked in this 27 minutes about like 5 different forms of hair loss, and we still haven't covered like half of it. Yeah, so it's amazing.
So is hair loss and hair thinning actually linked to menopause as well?
So in menopause, we can see androgenetic alopecia, the first type we talked about, can actually start early. I have some patients in their teens who had it, but we do see an increase as you go towards menopause. Absolutely.
Okay. So I want to, give the audience members some time to actually ask questions because we have about 13 minutes left on the show, and I don't want to take up all the time asking my questions. So I want to invite the audience members, go ahead and type in your questions, and we'll try to get to as many as possible because I know that you guys probably have a few. And in the interim, I want Dr. Yolanda to talk a little bit more about her book. If you can, when will that be released? How can people find that book and order it?
Okay, great. Guys, this book has been a labor of love. Life happens, personal life things happen, and you have to put things to the side, and then it's done. It's to be the final is about to be printed soon, so they will be shipped out in early November. Okay. So we're accepting pre-orders now. This is the cover. I'll show you.
Oh, I love it. That's great. I like that photo.
Yeah. So it's getting to the root. We get it root, right? Talking about forms of hair loss. And the subtitle is A Dermatologist and Cosmetologist Guide to Understanding Hair. So there are 18 chapters in the book. It's a full color book. So you can't really have a hair loss book, a dermatology book without pictures. So there are pictures of every form of hair loss, which I'm really excited about. These are my own personal photos in my collection. And there's also a chapter on nutrition and hair. Fads, and I also have a chapter on natural hair. So I think it's really good. If I may say so myself, I have put my heart and soul into this, and I'm really excited to be able to provide this to you all because I know I'm called by God to do this work. See, it's not
you absolutely are.
Passion for me. This is a calling. This is a ministry. This is an assignment for me. And so you can pre-order on our website. You can go to lenzyderm.com, which is Lenzy. My name is spelled a little differently. Lenzyderm, DERM.com /book. So lenzyderm.com /book. And you can pre-order a copy. Thank you for all the people who've been patient. I'm like, oh my goodness, this has been years in the making. But you know what? I think about a scripture. Is it okay if I share a scripture on your show?
Dr. Yolanda?
In the Rebecca, I think about the scripture that says, though the vision tarry, wait for it. Okay. So I'm excited that the vision has tarried, that we have persisted, and we're excited to bring this to people. I think it's going to be a blessing. And I just spoke at a conference a couple of weeks ago, and several people, Carla, bought multiple copies to
Oh, I'm sure.
their hairstylists, to gift to their co-workers or different people who may be dealing with hair loss. I thought that was a great idea. So you may not be dealing with any hair loss yourself, but I'm sure you know someone who is. So you can gift the book to them, and I think that would be a really, really good thing.
Yeah, great. We have some questions. One question someone has is, as a hairstylist, how can I help my clients?
Okay. As a hairstylist, I would say the number one thing you can do to help your clients is to get educated yourself, to learn as much as you can. And that's why I created probably this course that I've now educated 5 groups of hairstylists. It's called, the course is called Getting to the Root Hair Loss Academy.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I'm still doing it. It's a 12-week course where I take you through all of these different forms of hair loss. And then we have a clinical training in my office in Massachusetts where you get to come work with me for a couple of days. And I think it's a really great opportunity. You get to see real patients in the office with me, get a chance to see how I use my scope to determine if I need to do a biopsy or make the diagnosis. It's really, really, really good. If I may say so myself, I've had probably 30 something stylists who have gone through it and have great feedback from them. So I'm really someone I see over here on Instagram. Hair by Day, she's on here. She did the course. Different ones. So I'm really excited. I would say to answer that question, get educated yourself, and then also say something. We say in the streets, if you see something, say something, right? About snitching. So if you see something, if you
Right.
see the client scout that you don't know what it is, send them to the proper person. So I recommend to stylists to have a dermatologist that you're partnered with.
Okay.
In my course, I help to partner stylists with the dermatologists locally that are my friends. So I make email introductions for people who work with me.
Okay.
I would
And
say
you also do virtual consultations as well, correct?
so virtual. Yep, I do virtual consultations as well. We use FaceTime or Skype if you are somewhere where you're having a difficult time finding someone to work with. I have one tomorrow night. Someone I met through Instagram. So it's a blessing to be able to work with people in this way.
Okay, awesome. Should I pursue a dermatologist if my hair is no longer growing? There's a big bald spot on the top and sprinkles in the front. I keep it very short now.
Absolutely, because that big bald spot in the front could be CCCA, what I just talked about. Common things being common. So I definitely think you should. Because remember, I said just because we can't get it to grow back does not mean you should not do anything, right? Because if it's this size now, it's going to be this size in 5 years and this size in 10 years, right? So we want to keep what we have. That's the big message here tonight, guys. Don't lose courage or inspiration just because everything can't grow back, right? Just know that you're saving your strands that you do have, which is so important. Because my mom, she tells me that all the time. She's like, "Oh my God, She said the stuff you're doing, Yolanda, I wasn't even offered this stuff. She was given a topical steroid, and that's it. I mean, this was back in 20, 30 years ago. So
Yeah.
we didn't know as much as we know now. So, but if you're not being offered all the things, right? The young people like to say all the things. If you're not being, my people, I offer them all the things, right?
Okay.
I let you know, hey, we got this, we have this, we have this and this. What works best for you?
Yeah.
We offer the things. We have a lot of things that we can do, and you need to be working with someone who has that offering for you.
Yeah, and as someone who's experienced hair loss myself, I would really like to encourage Lillian, who just asked the question, to really do something, because you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait years and then find that you don't have any hair left. Because I did start off with a little bitty, whole little spot, and it continued to grow, and I continued to ignore it. So definitely do something. The other question was, someone asked me if hair vitamins work, and if they do, which ones do you recommend?
So that's a great question. I love that question because the first step I always say is you need to get a diagnosis first. Before
Okay.
you go out and buy one vitamin, one oil, one anything, get a diagnosis, right? Because all of these are different conditions. Y'all understand that these are hair loss is not one thing, right? So if you have TE, a vitamin can be helpful if the cause is you are nutritionally deficient. If you have FFA, the scarring alopecia I just talked about, a vitamin is probably not going to be helpful. So the first step is to get a diagnosis. So I'm not going to recommend a particular vitamin because
Yeah.
I don't know what you have. The first step I would say get a diagnosis and then we take it from
there. Okay. Is there anything that we have 5 minutes? So I just want to make sure that there isn't anything that you wanted to talk about today that I haven't asked you. If anybody has any last minute questions, to please put them in the chat box. What about? Oh, here's another question. I'm so sorry.
there.
What's the website for the book again? First of all.
It's lenzyderm.com/book. So if somebody could type that into the comments, that would be great. I think Dr. Nurse Gail, I saw her name come up. Lenzy, LENZYDERM.com/book.
Yeah, I think you brought a scribe with you today because somebody is really taking some really great notes in.
Yeah, I have a lot of great people in my community. So.
Yeah, you've got some amazing people in your community. They are in here for you, Dr. Lenzy. They're not playing around.
Guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much.
That's a beautiful thing. So does psoriasis act up more during colder weather?
That's a great question. This is a good show, Carla. Oh my goodness.
The great show.
Yes, it does. So, and psoriasis can happen not only on the scalp, that's one of the most common places, but it can happen throughout the body. So, this time of year, I'm starting to see more patients come into the office with their psoriasis flaring up. Yes, so absolutely, it can happen more during colder weather.
Is that when you see it like on people's elbows and their knees?
Yes, exactly. The elbows and knees are common areas in the scalp. Absolutely.
Yes, I've seen that. We have some great comments. I'm a graduate. It's a great course. That's Katrina Pleasant.
Oh, hey,
Katrina. Yep. So, and then I saw another comment that I wanted to read. I think somebody was saying that you did something. Oh, here it is. I don't have a question, but I want to share that Dr. Yolanda did a virtual consult with my teenage daughter and was a true blessing. She even encouraged her in her studies. Dr. Yolanda, that's just like you. That is just like you. You are just one of those people. I love it. That's a beautiful comment. So that was from Monetta Field.
Monetta, right?
Yes. And I love Monetta. So she's a really, really wonderful lady. I know her too.
Yeah, awesome.
So let's see if we have a couple more questions because we have 2 minutes. I like to get people out on time so they'll come back. Is there a list of doctors that you work with?
A list of doctors that I work with. We actually, one of my colleagues, Dr. Osei Tutu, is working on a website of dermatologists who enjoy treating hair loss. So that will be out soon. So we will make sure you're following me on social media at Dr. Yolanda Lenzy. Somebody can type that in the comments. It's just it's YOLANDALENZY. And then once that is available, I will put that out there. I will put that out there for you guys. But I have colleagues that I, work with in different cities, but it's not a list right now. But like I said, this website will be out soon.
Okay. And then the last question we'll stop with is what's your thought on areata, alopecia, and steroid shots? Because I hear a lot of people getting steroids with that.
Right. So alopecia areata is an autoimmune condition. Autoimmunity means for some reason the body is producing T cells which are attacking itself. So it's making a mistake. So it's a lot of inflammation there. So typically we use steroids to get rid of that inflammation. So steroid shots can be used. Many times I use topicals. Topicals can often work. The shots do go a little bit deeper, so they do work probably a little bit better. But if they have lost more than 50%, then I talk about other treatments like topical immunotherapy. I talk about that in the alopecia areata chapter in the book. And then there's new medicines that you guys may have seen on the nightly news. There's these medicines called JAK inhibitors, like tofacitinib. They're not yet FDA approved, but these medicines have helped people with universalis and totalis. So you can lose all of your hair with alopecia areata and become bald. It has helped people grow all of their hair back because it's scarring, but it's not yet FDA approved. But it should be approved hopefully sometime in probably 2019. So stay tuned. And as these things become available, I'll be posting about it on social media and everything like that. But I talk about these in the book too.
So I just want to tell everybody, if you are not following Dr. Yolanda Lenzy, she's on Periscope. Who are you on Periscope? Are you Dr. Yolanda?
It's Dr. Yolanda Lenzy. I keep it easy for the people.
Okay. So across all social media platforms, she is Dr. Yolanda Lenzy. She's very easy to find. As you can see, she has a wonderful personality, very bubbly, upbeat, very positive woman, and she is a woman of God. If that matters to you, it matters to me. So I would suggest once this broadcast ends, get over there, follow her on all social media platforms, invite your friends and your family, those people you know who might be struggling. And it's an emotional thing. It's a really emotional thing. And people need to know that they're not alone. They need to know that there is help that they can get for this. Don't be embarrassed. And, even now it's still a struggle for me, but I'm getting through it because I know that there are a lot of women out there, struggling with this. And I wanted to make sure that I at least brought some light to my community about this issue that is really, plaguing a lot of women. So make sure you're following her. Dr. Yolanda Lenzy, do you have any closing remarks before we go?
Yes, I just want to thank you, Carla, for this opportunity. And I want to encourage all the people who rock with me to follow Carla Palmer. She is on social media as GYSB, right? Movement.
Yes.
Yeah, so she is a jump rope queen. I met her at a retreat. She's the same business coach, and she is really on fire for helping people get their sexy back. So I encourage you to follow her. I bought her program and I do her jumping rope routine often. It's phenomenal. So I would just say to make sure you follow her. And remember, to have healthy hair, we need to have healthy bodies, right? So we need to get our exercise in. We need to get our water in. Half of our ounces in our body weight, that's the number of ounces you need per day. So anyway, all that's important. So thank you, Carla, for this opportunity.
Thank you. And thank everyone for joining. And I hope that you will join us again next week. If you are not following the Carla Palmer Show, please like and follow so that you get the notifications. We've got some great shows lined up for the future. We've got about 5 more episodes this season, and then we'll pick back up for another season after that. But please like the page, follow. Again, really happy that you joined us, Dr. Yolanda. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.